What's up guys, welcome back. I bought another car. Now I know what you're thinking, it's not like me to buy cars and do things to cars. That's wild. But as you can see here, got ourselves a little SSS Pulsar beastie. So pretty cool how all this has sort of come about. So I had the blue N14 Pulsar that I used to daily drive when I was living on the Sunshine Coast. I was driving out here every day. I had up for sale for ages. It's sort of just been sitting on Marketplace. People keep offering me nothing for it. I didn't really want to talk to anyone about it who was offering me freaking peanuts for it. So it sort of just sat there. It was annoying to deal with, and it just sat in the yard. This thing popped up for sale, and I just had to have it, had to grab it. I always wanted an N14 SSS. It is something that I've always just wanted to do. So I had to have it, but I didn't want to like take any money out or dip into any money. I thought, I'm going to get this thing, but I'm just going to sell off, have a bit of a fire sale of crap that's been lying around forever that we've been meaning to sell forever, and go and get it. So that's what I did. Sold the little blue Pulsar, sold a few intake manifolds and things that we had lying around that we don't need, that we're not going to use. Went and got this thing. Now, anyone who might remember, I'm pretty sure it was a public week in the life video that I did quite a while ago. And that's why I think it must have been a public one, because I think it was before I even was doing members. But I had a friend who had an N14 Pulsar, a gold one, with a cammed up SR20 in it. He absolutely loved the thing, absolutely adored it. Unfortunately, he crashed it and wrote it off, pulled the motor out. His plan was always to try and find another one to stick his motor in, his cammed engine, so that he could have another N14 one day. So it sat in his shed for ages. It got to the point where he had to move, so he really had to offload it because he couldn't move it. So I don't even know why I really bought it. I think I bought it with the intention that I was going to put it in the blue N15. So I grabbed the cammed up SR20 out of his N14 off him, and it's just been literally sitting in the shed here for over a year now, just sitting there. I decided not to bother putting it in the N15 because by the time I found an SR20 gearbox, a shifter linkage to suit, had to buy CVs and get it all in there. I was like, it's not worth it. It's going to cost too much. You can literally just buy a SSS for what it would cost to do. So I decided it wasn't worth it, and that's why it all just sat there. So enter the little beastie red N14 SSS here. So it popped up for sale just a little over an hour from us. I thought that's not too far. We can go and get it. So as you can see, it's moderately tidy, specifically for red. You know, red often, usually cars this age that are red, they're clear coat peeling, the paint's trashed. You know, this thing with a little bit of paint correction, bit of a cut and polish and a buff, it will come good, this red, which is awesome. There's a few dents in it that we should be able to pull out, just like paintless dent removal. But overall, it's quite a tidy, straight unit. And you know, tidy, straight N14 SSSs at the moment are pulling good money.
A couple Nissan SR20 motors will pull up premium 1 week before race wars, huh?
Yeah, probably.
I figured, why not get it, put our cammed engine to good use, and I can have some fun, make some cool content, put it up for sale for good money. If I get good money for it, awesome, capitalize, make some cash. If I don't get good money for it, if no one wants to give me what I want for it, I'm more than happy to just drive this thing around. Because I had a fire sale and paid cash with it for stuff that was just lying around, it doesn't really feel like we overstretched for it. It doesn't feel like it really owes me anything, because all I did was just trade a heap of other trash I had lying around for this. So if it doesn't sell, if no one wants to give me what I want, I'm just going to happily drive it around for the immediate future. Maybe go to some hill climbs, some sprint racing, we'll see. So anyway, basically, it came up for sale. It was quite cheap because the SR that's in it, the head looks like it has broken the dowel out of the cam. And for that reason, it appears to have bent a heap of valves and done a heap of damage. So obviously someone's done it, it's been damaged, they decided it's not worth it, and here it is. But obviously for us that doesn't matter, because I've got a cammed engine to go straight in here. As you can see, already got some decent pipes on it, half decent exhaust, at least back to the cat, so it wouldn't be hard to sort of just finish the exhaust off and make it decent. And you know, a cammed up SR20 should make pretty good power and be super fun. I know my mate that I bought the engine off, he absolutely adored that setup. He reckoned it was just the most fun he's ever had in a car. And you know, he used to own the Type X180 SX and things like that, so he has had some cool cars, and he reckons his cammed up, aspirated N14 Pulsar was the most fun car he ever owned. So I'm pretty excited about it. So even though this engine's probably pretty toasted, or the head at least, is got a heap of bent valves in it. It did come with a spare head on the back seat, as well as a brand new head gasket. So all the parts are here to fix this engine. So I'll probably, once this engine comes out and the cam on goes in, I will eventually fix this engine up and we'll have a spare SR20 again as well. I don't know why, but you know, I'm excited about this. First point of call, we're just going to swap the engine straight up. I just want to get the good engine in this thing. I want to get it running, driving, movable straight away. That way we can really start to see what else needs to be done to this car. So just from pushing it around, I'm pretty sure the shocks are shot. So I think it's going to need shocks. So I don't know, aftermarket support for these things is pretty good. Probably be pretty easy to buy a set of coilovers. So we might just look at doing coilovers or something for this thing. And yeah, I'm freaking keen. So the actual ad for this car on Marketplace did state that the engine was quite new. It did indicate that the engine had not done a lot of work before it had obviously damaged that cam down and then in turn damaged a heap of valves. So pulling this apart, it did seem pretty obvious that it was quite fresh indeed. Had not done a lot of work. The clutch that was on it was nearly brand new. The clutch that was on it was an XCD 4-puck ceramic clutch. The clutch that was on my friend's cammed engine that I bought was also quite new, but it was an organic clutch. So two really good clutches to choose from. Obviously, red race car, race engine needs a race clutch, so I decided to put the ceramic clutch into this one. Honestly, it's probably not really that necessary for what this thing is, but I thought, why not use the good clutch in it? Might make it worth a few more dollars if it does sell. so the good clutch went onto it. So not only was the clutch quite new, but the throw-out bearing was brand new as well. Most of the stuff in here is just all exactly as it should be, brand spanking new. So really lucked out with this thing. It's a really good thing. I think once I fix this other engine, it will also be quite a good thing, provided it was built correctly. So with the old engine out and the gearbox off, we just started swapping everything over, swapped over the clutch, and swapped over quite a few little hoses and bits and bobs on the engine that we had to put on the cammed engine to put it back in. So that was how the process went, and started putting it back together and putting it back in the car. So there we were with everything swapped over. All of the stuff we don't need went onto the old pallet with the other engine, and we will get to fixing that at a later date. Now, one thing I did want to swap over, because it was quite a lot nicer looking, was the black cover on the engine that came out of the car. A little bit nicer than the standard one that was on the cammed engine, so I thought I'd change that over. In the process, I always wanted to try and confirm exactly what cams these are, as I never actually confirmed what they are. No one knew. The bloke that I bought it off, he actually bought the car cammed already, so he didn't know which cams these were. Now, after some looking at the cams, we couldn't actually identify them just from any markings on the camshafts, so we decided to actually take some measurements instead to try and measure exactly what they were. The measurements came back. These things are actually pretty half-decent cams. There is a fair bit of cam in there, so pretty stoked with that. This thing should be pretty lumpy. Now, although from these rough measurements we could find out what the cams were as in regards to duration as well as lift, we still actually don't know exactly what brand they are. So just from our quick measurements, what we found was on the exhaust side we've got a 256 degree duration on a 11mm lift, and on the intake side we've got a 264 degree duration on a 11mm lift. So quite staunch little cams, should go well. Looking forward to getting this thing back together. So back on the engine the black cover goes, and time to get this thing back in the car and see what it sounds like.
Righto guys, so we got it started, we couldn't figure out the timing. Because this thing idles so lumpy, it was jumping the timing all over the place. It is just as I expected, it is nice and lumpy, I absolutely love it. Absolutely wrapped with this thing guys, still a few things to sort out before we can actually take it for a drive. So this is not the last you'll be seeing of this car. Thank you for watching, as always, we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, see you, bye.